what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1996 Mitsubishi Delica turbo diesel. Up front is a 2.8 liter turbo diesel inline 4 and down below is a 3-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Mitsubishi Delica because it is imported from Japan and it has a bunch of really cool, really rare features. There are some gimmicks in here for sure that I also really enjoy, so I'm just overall excited to share this really cool van with you today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2.8 liter turbo diesel under the hood. Well, there was a gasoline engine offered here in the Delica as well. This is the turbo option and seems to be the more popular option as they are priced a little bit higher than the traditional gasoline. Couple of the reasons for that, pretty much every country in the world besides America offer more vehicles with diesel. It's more readily available. So Japan is one of those. They get a lot of diesel options for their vehicles. But the second reason is the fact that this makes a lot more torque. It is more powerful and has a little bit extra grunt. Like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. Now, again, you could find these in manual. However, the manual has actually had an issue because the engine has an aluminum head that in fifth gear, sometimes these engines would overheat. So for safety, or I guess reliability reasons, the automatic is technically a better way to go. Although if you do want to shift your own gears, you did have the option. Last but not least, the Delica is 4-wheel drive with a center locking differential, which we'll talk about later on, but that's super, super cool. How does it feel to drive the Mitsubishi Delica? Well, you sit up high. That 4-wheel drive system needed quite a bit of real estate to be in this vehicle, so you do sit up pretty tall, but visibility is great. The steering is decently light and friendly. Throttle, not very responsive, but you know, it's a turbo diesel. I don't expect that much. And overall, it's just really, really fun to drive a Delica turbo diesel. It's very interesting, if nothing else. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my tachometer, in the center is my speedometer, and off to the right, we have our coolant temperature and fuel, as well as a little diagram showing which wheels are engaged. So we are in 2-wheel drive, so the rear wheels are engaged, but we also have a little light for the center locking differential. Very, very cool. Down at the bottom left of the steering wheel, we do have our automatic transmission settings as well as our windshield wiper defrost. And off to the right, we have our gauge dimmer switch and fog lights, as well as we have climate vents around the outside of the gauges. So a lot going on here. Moving on to the door, we do have our latch to get in and out, as well as our power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. And then moving into the center, we get an altimeter, a thermometer, and our volt gauge. Very, very cool stuff found here in the Delica. Down below that, we do have our heat and air conditioning options that have this awesome, beautiful digital readout that shows everyone in the van, so you can make sure that everyone's getting heated or cooled in your Mitsubishi Delica. Absolutely love that. We also have a button for the rear control, so you can control the rear climate, which we'll talk about when we crawl into the back seat. Down below that, we have the rear defrost, hazard switch, and ESC button, a digital clock, and an aftermarket radio, because any radio, not only from this era, isn't going to keep up with modern tech, but also Japanese radios don't get the same frequencies that American radios get. So if you want to listen to any music, you gotta switch it out. We do have pop-out cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test. However, very predictably it fails, but cool to even see that it has cup holders at all. Down below, we do have an ashtray and cigarette lighter, and our 4-wheel drive stick down on the floor. So manually put it into 4-wheel drive and locking differential. Very, very cool to see all of that. We also get the parking brake and then the seats. The seats are very comfortable. They're a very fun, very nostalgic 90s fabric, and I absolutely adore it. Looks good, feels good, and I like it. However, we have 2 more rows of seating. So let's go do some more backseat reviews. All right, so we're actually gonna do this one handheld this time around because it makes more sense. Pull it open here. Okay, hold on, I gotta unlock it. And now we are in the back. First of all, 2 seats here, obviously, but we also really get to enjoy this awesome roof known as the, where is it? Crystal Light roof. No, it is not made out of lemonade packets like we would think here in the States. This is the Crystal Light roof. We also do have our controls for the power sunshades, which have been removed because they were very dirty and dingy. But we have lights down the center and all of these really cool features in the back of the Delica. However, more features is that you can actually pull, I think it's this one? Nope, this one moves it forward and back. This one does that. There, okay. So there's a tiny lever right here you pull up and you can actually swivel the chair around and it will lock in place. It's very hard to do one-handed, but you can swivel it 360 and have a nice chat with your mates while driving down the road, and you do retain a lap belt while doing so. However, when you're in the forward position, you get to use the shoulder belt. So flip it back around like that. I also love it says space gear right here. Very, very cool. Let's move this back. And once we are back here, we do have our own climate controls. We have cup holders and an ashtray. We have vents up here, which is really nice. And of course, we get to enjoy the Crystal Light. I also fit really, really good in the back here. I have so much leg room to lounge and I still have more space behind me. Now, this is the extended wheelbase of the Delica, which I don't know if the wheelbase actually changes, but it's just a longer one. So I still get to enjoy the Crystal Light roof that is acting as a greenhouse right now when it's like 95 degrees out. I also get an ashtray over here because heaven forbid I'm without an ashtray anywhere in this vehicle. But let's hop out back into the cool air and take a look at the trunk and cargo space. All right, around the back of the Delica, space gear. Pull it up like this. Giant door with some nice helping struts. And once we are back here, we do get a 12-volt outlet and some clips and mounts. Like I said, you still get plenty of space for your cargo even after the third row. I mean, look at this right here. This looks like a Star Wars escape pod. Look at that. Is that not like the coolest thing in the world? I mean, come on. So neat. We do have a little pull strap down here to pull this back down and close up the back of the Mitsubishi Delica space gear. Oh, maybe that's why it's called space gear. Oh my God. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I really like the subtle curviness of the Delica. Now, 1996 was the final year of this looking Delica. They actually facelifted it for 1997, although it wasn't a new generation. It does look a little bit different. And something you can note is that the diesel Delicas got hood scoops where the gasolines didn't. So if you're looking at a Delica with a hood scoop, it is the diesel. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a Mitsubishi Delica from 1996? Well, I actually have driven a Delica from earlier in the 90s, and I like this one more. This is definitely a lot more livable. This is a lot more supple. It's a lot easier, not only on the eyes, but for daily use. The gauges are clearer. The interior feels more spacious. And I like all the kooky features. I like the altimeter and thermometer. I like the little diagram in the air conditioning. I like the Crystal Light roof. All of it is just so cool. And the biggest interest to me is that minivans didn't really exist 10 years prior to this. Chrysler is given credit for the Dodge Caravan in 1984 that really kicked off the minivan craze. Now, the Delica actually existed since I believe the 70s, I want to say. The correct year is up on the screen. I don't have it in front of me at the moment. But it was more of a cargo van. They didn't really start making passenger variants, although they had seats in them, livable, dailyable, comfortable passenger variants until much later on. And I think Mitsubishi, once they started doing this, really nailed it, because not only is this the minivan that we come to know and love, it also has four-wheel drive with a center-locking diff. That is some serious off-road chops. You don't see center-locking diffs on many vehicles today that aren't specific for off-road. And so there's often a cross between passenger and adventure that we go towards SUVs. We look at the Toyota 4Runner, but that's very rugged and unfriendly to drive. We look at the Toyota Land Cruiser, same thing. We look at the Jeep products. Again, four-wheel drive and adventurous, definitely not 3 rows of passengers. If you want a 3-row off-roader, maybe a lifted Yukon or Tahoe, maybe, but they're not gonna have the off-road capabilities that this does. Japan nailed it very early on. You want adventure? Here it is. You want to carry multiple people? Here it is. Is soccer practice downtown Tokyo? Great, we'll go there. Is soccer practice on the side of Mount Fuji? Cool, we'll go there. That's the beauty of the Delica. It really truly is a go anywhere with any one vehicle. And the fact that we didn't get it here in the States is, well, robbery, if nothing else. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Carlo for letting me take out his Mitsubishi Delica and sharing it with you here today. Carlo has been absolutely wonderful to work with. This car has been absolutely wonderful to drive, and I appreciate him very, very much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.